Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the I'm Afraid Con podcast. Today I'm joined by a great friend, Chuy. Chuy, welcome back after it's been a minute.
Yeah, I think it's been like a year and a half, two. I don't. It's been a while.
It
Thanks, man.
has, and that surprises me so much because honestly, I was reflecting on our friendship, and for as long as I've known you, no matter how much time passes between us, it always feels like we literally just are catching up. You know, when people say that, like, "Oh, it's like we're just catching up. Doesn't matter how much time has passed." You're definitely one of those guys. I feel like in my life, we'll just catch up.
It's good. I like to be that. I think I treat many of my relationships or friendships like that. Because I think it comes from a genuine interest of the other person. See how they're doing, see how their life is, and all that. And yeah, bro, it's been a while, but I always like talking to you.
Yes, same here. Dude, one time you told me something and you said that you want to be the provider. You like to provide. And I loved hearing that. Tell me more about that.
Oh man, I think that comes from me being a Mexican. My family and how they grow up is very old school. I'm sure in your family as well is probably more traditional than most American families. I'm not sure if you're like first generation or not. Um, but I am, and so I guess having that background is very much like the man provides, and you got to. This day and age, I understand that it's more of an equal part between partners, and that's for sure what me and my fiance have. But if I could do it, if I could like relieve some of the stress for her not to work, I would do it. So that's what I'm working towards. I'm working towards having that, being the provider for her, so she doesn't have to work, or if she wants to, she can. But she'll make that money for herself and whatever she wants to do with it.
But tell me more about just that desire, like to be a provider. What is it to you? What is it?
I have no idea, bro. I have no idea where it comes from. I mean, like I said, I think it's just my background and seeing my dad be that, and I feel like it almost comes from like being a man. And I hate putting it in that way. Like being a man or being a woman, you're supposed to be this way or whatever, right? Like, but I think being a man, I naturally want to be a provider, and I think that comes from a lot of men naturally. Maybe not all, but I think a lot, if not the majority. I think it just comes from
Something
being,
innate.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure you have the same thing, no? You want to provide?
It's something that I've been reflecting on a lot more, especially
Okay.
lately. I noticed there's a Rocky poster in your background. What I love about that film is what Sylvester Stallone says. He's like, people don't understand. It's a love movie. It's a love story.
Mm,
And I love that. And I totally see what he's saying. And that film, like, it's not necessarily about providing. Well, actually, I think in a way it is providing. Rocky like gives so much love. And what I liked about that movie especially is that Rocky did a lot of hard things only to prove it to himself and the ones that he loved that he could do it. That was about it. That was
yeah.
the only reason he went
I
after them.
actually only have seen, I think, like the first two movies. My fiance, she's a Rocky fan. That's how we have that there. She's watched all the movies. She has it on Blu-ray, all the, all the CDs, the DVDs. Um, she loves Rocky. Like that's like her inspiration. The Eye of the Tiger is like her song, to like just listen to it. Just like, yeah, Eye of the Tiger. She just goes.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man. I like the message behind it. Not to give up on what you love. And putting your all into it, even though you feel like you're getting beaten down, you get right back up and you keep going.
Yeah.
That's a true love, right? That's what true love means.
Do you think Shrek is about true love?
Oh my God, I love Shrek.
I love Shrek too. Oh my God.
Dude, I like how
I don't understand people that don't like Shrek. I gotta be honest. I just
people
don't
don't
get
like.
it. There's people out there, you know, and I'm
No,
like, dude, Shrek? Shrek is it.
yeah, like And it's honestly so impressive on their animation that they did in that time. Like I really enjoy like every part of it. Um, but the last song, man, I can't really remember the end song where the donkey is singing afterwards. I don't know if it's Shrek 1 or Shrek 2, where the donkey is singing, but the gist of the song is like I've met my match, and a lot of people don't believe in love or love at first sight or something like that, but like no, with you, like it is true, and I know we have that true love. And I'm like slowly remembering the lyrics, like not really, but it's a good song, man. I wish I could remember it real quick so I could sing a part of it, but
Let's hear you
great
sing a
song.
part of it.
I wish if I could remember it right now, like I'm trying to, but I just it does not come to my mind. Um, it's a great song, and every time I hear it, it actually gives me inspiration of like, you know what, it's right, man. Like it's actually like there is true love out there, and it's deep like that sometimes and unexplainable, and it's just like you just know, right? You know, that kind of thing. But I love it. I think it's a great love movie for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, the Shrek universe is just fantastic. There's just
Yeah.
so much beautiful storytelling going on in there,
Mm.
especially that last one, for Shrek Forever After. I love it so much because the story is Shrek, you've got everything good in life that everybody would want. You know, you're the guy, you're him.
Yeah.
But for some reason, you can't see that.
Yeah.
And
He's
then
still.
it takes him to make a big mistake to realize that. And then he recognizes the value of what he had. I just
Yeah.
love it.
And the simplicity of it all. Like I actually forgot about that movie until you just brought up the premise behind it. But yeah, he forgot for a second, and it kind of goes back to when people say I don't know if it's a saying or not, to be honest, but like when people don't realize that what they have is actually a lot more than what they think it is. Like they'll get used to the routines of a relationship or family or something and just feel miserable or feel sad because like oh they think they can have more out there. There's the grass is greener on the other side, but no, a lot of the times it just takes it's what you feed, right? It takes you paying attention to what you have in your life and feeding that part of yourself and your life that you will start realizing that you actually do have an amazing life and everything you do have is or you should be grateful for. Because as soon as you leave, you start missing everything, right? Like, you're like, damn, like this, I thought it was gonna be better over here, but it's not. And so you're feeding that fantasy of what could be out there, what could be out there. And in doing that, you're neglecting what you actually have. And so it's like the story of the wolves. Which one within we have two wolves in ourselves, and which one will win depends on which one you feed. So you feed the good one or you feed the bad one. That's the one that was good. That's gonna win at the end of the day. So take care of your own life and feed your life and the people around you and love and nurture everything that you have, and you will be forever grateful, I think.
Yeah, another aspect of Shrek Forever After that I really liked was the routine, the monotony, the everyday on repeat of his life.
Yeah.
And I thought it was beautiful that they portrayed that because I've experienced it in my own life as well, where I'm like, man, this whole thing feels like it's being put on repeat. It's the same thing over and over and over again. Now in
Yeah.
Shrek Forever After, that's a truly beautiful thing for him, what he has, right?
Mhm.
And so he breaks out of that, he makes a mistake, and then he realizes actually that was really good. But what I've recognized in my life is there's instances where I see that pattern, like things are on repeat, it's the same old, and I don't like it. And I break out of that. And if I realize I made a mistake and I want that back, then I know that that thing was true and that was right. But if I break out of that and I realize actually I don't miss that at all, I'm so glad that I broke out of that cycle. Then I realize, you know what? I made the right decision.
And it wasn't meant for you.
It wasn't meant for you.
That's a good way of looking at things. But at the same time, I guess I would like kind of give you caution. Because of course it's a lot easier to break out of certain things, or habits or whatnot. and you looking back or that you miss it or don't miss it, it's a lot easier to do that. And you were like, okay, cool. Like, I didn't need it or I did need it. So I can just
Mhm.
get it back. But when it comes to people, you can't really do that. Or at least it's harder to because you can't just break away from people, realize you missed them, and then expect them to accept you back just because you left and just thought you wanted better or something. Is that something you can't do with people? I think with things or activities, sure you can do that or something in your life, but when it comes to people, it's different. You have to realize what you love, and we have to see it about the person. Um, and if they're good for you, they're good to you, keep them around. There's no reason. Like, sure, it gets kind of boring, I guess. Every now and then, we just a friendship. You don't do nothing. You're just hanging out, same old thing. But they're not causing you any harm. Then there's no reason to leave it unless you see a harm. Then all right, that's a good indicator to leave. But yeah, just give you that caution though. Like I can see that that's a really good thing to exercise with certain aspects of your life. But I would give you caution to not try to do that with people in your life because some people will get hurt and you may feel like you lost a good person in your life and you're like, dang, I want to go back, but you can't because you hurt them incidentally, and it just is harder to come back to that.
Yes, thank you so much for mentioning that. That's a great thing.
So,
And I agree with you. I agree with you. There's this song called Crown of Thorns by Mother Love Bone. And Andy Woody has a lyric in there. He goes, "It's all who you know, so don't burn your bridges, woman." And I
mm,
love that. I love that because it's so true. And I remember like growing up, especially like in the age of social media and whatnot, I remember there were times where I take things personally and I just cut ties with people. And sometimes it was right to burn that bridge. But other
yeah,
times it was like, it wasn't necessary, you know? And so
yeah,
like yeah, I would agree to what you said.
hmm
There's a caution there.
yeah. Some
Be
people believe.
careful.
Like you said, like don't burn bridges, but like nah, sometimes it's necessary. If it doesn't serve you, or I guess you're like mental health sometimes. I'm a naturally giving person, so I tend to care about other people more than myself most of the time. And some people are naturally like takers, they will accept. And so some of those relationships,
Yeah,
they're not good to keep together. As much as
they
you're
are
trying,
not.
whatever, that's not a good relationship to keep
My
together.
friend told me some people, like, all they do is take, 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 and they don't know any better.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah,
Not
it's
attractive at
do it on
all.
purpose. Yeah, like they don't realize it. And if they do and they still do it, they're just assholes. Yeah,
Put plainly, yeah.
yeah.
Dude, how do you deal with, because we've talked about this before. You have a very magnetic personality, you know. It's nice. How do you navigate encounters with people that try to take advantage of you?
It's hard, or it was harder for me as a youngin. I'm still a youngin right now, but 28 years old. Um, but I think as like a middle school, high school kid, maybe even after like high school, like fresh into college, I think it was a lot harder for me to navigate that because I am naturally giving and also in that time wanted to be accepted. I had barely came from California in middle school. So
Compton.
yeah. So I wanted to be accepted, by some group of people or have some friends. So there was a little bit more vulnerability there for me to be taken advantage of. And there was times and people that definitely did. And it was way harder for me to realize that. And honestly, I think at times I never did, and life just took its course, and those people just started to not be in my life for whatever reason. Sometimes it's not even like I made a decision to cut them out or they made a decision to cut me out. It's just life happened and we went our separate ways, like either different schools or, different group of people we are hanging out with or whatnot. I don't know. But at the end of it, looking back, some of those friendships or relationships that I did lose ended up to serve me better. And I saw how those people would take advantage of my kindness and just, being that person to always want to be there for other people. And I think those were just learning lessons because I didn't realize it then. No, and I didn't do anything then. But because of them, now I can sort of tell a little bit better when somebody is trying to take advantage of me. And I know or am trying still to find ways to mm, create the necessary like borders or what are they called? Boundaries. Yeah. Create
Yeah.
necessary boundaries. Because for somebody like me, it's really easy to get trapped into wanting to help people and then you start not taking care of the people around you as like your family, my fiance, yourself. So it's a very delicate thing to realize and to be a little bit more selfish to yourself and your care because that matters most. Because without you being good and mentally in a good space, whatever, you can't help nobody else. The people that deserve it, right? So I don't know, man. It's a work in progress. Actually, still am working on that today. I'm getting better as the days go by, but I'm still working on it. It's difficult though. It's difficult to say no sometimes, and sometimes you have to say no. So that's my issue right there. It's like I don't know how to say no, and I'm working on that.
That word boundaries, it's so potent and so powerful.
Mhm.
Man, sometimes I remember reading in a Robert Greene book that words are so easy to fake, you know, to say nice words and say nice things, but you can see the person's true thoughts and feelings in their eyes. And I totally agree with that. And I've had instances where that with there's like people that try to take advantage and it's like I'm trying to be the best version of myself that I can be to
Yeah,
you. The best I'm trying to offer the best help I can to you, but I see it in your eyes that there's something mischievous here, something
yeah,
wrong here.
yeah,
And what that does for me is just pisses me off. It's like, oh my God. It starts to like lay the bedrock of a resentment that maybe
yeah.
never goes away, you know? So
I
it's
hear you.
interesting how that happens.
The eyes are the windows to the soul, they say.
They
So
certainly do say that. Yeah.
truth in people's eyes. I
Dude,
was,
speaking of,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just gonna say, speaking of, with the whole thing about eyes, have you seen Juice with Tupac?
No, I don't
Oh
think so.
man, you need to watch that movie. You need to
Yeah,
watch that movie. But keep
if I,
going then.
I know if I have, I probably just forgot the name of the title. I'm really bad
Yeah,
with names of songs, names of people, names in general. I'm just really bad with names. Um,
yeah,
yeah, man, I gotta watch it. I'll check it out. I'll see where it's at.
yeah.
But I was gonna say, although yes, I agree with what you're saying. You know, giving some people or some in the eyes, you see that there's a little bit of malicious or intent there. There's no, I think, in my opinion, no need to hold resentment towards them, unless you're feeding into the relationship expecting something back. Then that's when
Mm,
the resentment comes, I feel. But if you're trying to give or trying to help, just out of the kindness of your heart, the resentment shouldn't be there, even if you know the other person's going to take advantage. Know that there's a boundary you should draw, that you should be like, okay, I'm gonna help you out with this, whatever, or something else. But it's not going to be a recurring thing because I know that you're going to be taking advantage of another person that you naturally are, and you can't help it. The resentment I think comes from once you expect a return, like you're giving all this energy into this person and you don't receive anything back, and it's like because you're expecting it. But you shouldn't expect it. Don't expect things from people. That's the perfect way and perfect recipe for you to start resenting people. It's a letdown. It's expectations are automatic recipe for a letdown. You're like I think me and my fiance say that about ourselves too, and we talk about it sometimes. Like we don't expect each other to do certain things for one another because if we don't do it, then it's just like I expect you to do it. Like, well, no, I don't expect you. You're just like making yourself mad at that point for no reason. But also, we know that from each other, and yeah, we don't expect anything. But at the same time, we both know they shouldn't expect anything, so we're gonna be that person so that they don't expect it. If that makes sense, like we're gonna fill in the gap before the thought even comes in.
yeah, dude, I love what you're saying here, Chewy. When I was first introduced to Stoicism, that was sort of the hook that drew me in. Have no expectations. It's a very powerful lesson to incorporate into ourselves. But what I really like about you, Chewy, and I'm seeing it again and again here in this conversation, is you're optimistic about things. You kind of like benefit of the doubt type of a guy.
Yeah, definitely. It's a
Yeah.
gift and a curse, though.
It's what?
It's a gift and a curse
A gift and a curse. Why is it a curse?
because of your kindness and being so positive on everything and wanting to see the best in people all the time. When sometimes it's not like that, and you get let down because people are imperfect, and there will be times when, and that comes from expectation too, honestly, like having that positive outlook on life and being that kind of benefit of the doubt, half glass full. It's almost like there's a little bit of a note of expectation there. Like you're and that's the see, I still gotta work on it too. Like you and being this positive person and giving people benefit of the doubt is expecting them to be better or expecting them to grow or expecting them to act a certain way. But when that doesn't happen, you're like, fuck. I thought they were gonna act different this time, but nah, they're still the same person, man. It sucks. And it hurts a little bit. And although if you're trying to be that person, or if you are that person, I think it's hard to kind of stray away from that. And there will be that disappointment every now and then, but I would say just don't let it bother you too much. Don't sink in that feeling, because then you just start resenting people, and then it's not a good mix. I guess at that point you start going to a really negative path. So that's what I do. I get like, upset sometimes, but I let it go pretty quickly. Like, you know what? Like it's okay because they are who they are. I don't wish any ill on them. I wish them the best. But I think now knowing that this person is the way who they are isn't going to change. I need to set the boundary so that I don't get myself hurt later on. So yeah, that's how it could be a curse.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if I went in circles there, but
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm just reflecting on what you're saying. It's good stuff. Really, it is. It's good stuff.
do you consider yourself a optimistic person? I know from knowing you from these past few years. I know you like for the most part I think want to be or you want to have that thought process. But you are naturally more like you see the realistic side of how things are, not like how they could be. You just see them for what it is, right?
I try to be optimistic as much as I can be, but with my own experiences, I've come to learn, little by little over the years that just because you're a jolly good lad to everyone doesn't mean that you're going to get that back. Doesn't mean it's going to entice the best from them.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can be like the best to a person, and what ends up happening is it backfires. It's you get the worst out of them, and that's a really strange sort of reaction. Because I think like some people see kindness as a weakness.
Oh yeah.
Um,
A lot of
but
people.
yeah, I would say like I would think I'm pretty optimistic. I would think I'm pretty positive with the people that I encounter. But I always enjoy running these thoughts with you because you just have that magnetic personality and you always seem to be like operating on a high positive level.
Yeah, I guess I like on what you said is about bringing the best out of the other person. I guess sort of is my approach to when I meet people or something. Like
Mhm.
I try to be my best self, so hopefully they give me their best self. But that's
That
so
word, hopefully,
yeah,
right?
hopefully, right? Yeah. But that so contradicts what I just said, right, about expectations to not have any. So it's fuckery if I could cuss. um, it sucks, man, but that's how it is sometimes, and I guess I don't know. I try to always be that way, and a lot of the times I will say that it does bring out the best in people, but I have had encounters where it doesn't, and it actually brings a side of like a cynicism outside of someone else, they might think that I'm being fake or I'm being like that for my own interest, and I'm really not this person, and so they start being so skeptical of me. And I've had that happen before, and it really brings a shock to me. 'Cause I'm just like, what? Like, how can you think that? Like I get it, and maybe other people that they've encountered that have been that way towards them later on show their true colors, and they're actually like pretty bad people or like malevolent.
Yeah. I've
Um,
experienced with that as well, yeah. But you know what I think is really nice about that is a person like yourself that I've had experience with who's pretty genuine. I can see that. And
yeah.
then like say another person comes through and they're like acting pretty nice and whatnot, but they're not really. I feel like you can detect it. I feel like you can see through them just a
Some
little
people
bit.
are better at seeing through people than others, and I don't know where that comes from. I think maybe it has to do with like your own spiritual connection with yourself, because that's how you can kind of get the vibes from somebody else, or like
Vibes.
their vibes, their aura, their energy that they bring up upon other people. That has a lot to do with how people are. And I actually can like I pick that up pretty quickly too. So, and I'm you as well. You can pick that up. But I think that comes from like how spiritually like connected are you to be able to detect that, or you just experience so much fake in the world that you're surrounded constantly by fake people or something that like tells that that people will kind of give off really easily. Like I could assume that people who are maybe grow up in the celebrity world or something. I'm not too sure. I'm just a solid assumption here. Like, they have all eyes on them always, right? And so everybody's trying to keep up an appearance around them. And so none of it is really genuine, or at least most of it is not genuine because they have to keep up a certain appearance for the public because they are in the eye of the public. And so I'm assuming that those people are really quick to know when somebody's being fake or somebody's being not genuine because they're around it so much. And whereas us, we're regular folk trying to go to school and make it, we we detect it in different ways. Some people may not though.
Yeah,
It sucks for the other people that can't, because they get taken advantage of, I'm sure.
man, it's true. It's so true. I remember like this one guy that I knew, and one time I caught him in the library, like from a distance, looking at me, and
He's
it
checking.
was like a sinister look, like
Oh,
just for like 1 2 seconds, like I could see it,
yeah,
and it was not a pretty look, like you could just see it in the eyes, and I
yeah.
was like, okay, like that's whatever it is.
Weird.
And then I watched the movie American Psycho a few months later, and I was like, oh my
It was a
God, like this character, I recognize, I recognize this, like the looks and the this and the tells, as you said. I'm not saying like that guy's a murderer or something, but I'm
yeah.
like, I could see it. Like I could see that in him.
His
And
eyes.
so I think like for me, like in real life, when I come across certain people, it's like movies. There's things in movies that they're not said, but you can see them. And everybody that's a human is like, oh yeah, I recognize that's a human thing. And so it's kind of like that in real life, where it's like, man, that thing right there, I know what that is. I can
A
put my
little
finger
sketch.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A sketch there. Then did you
yeah.
meet him or say hi, or did you approach you?
Um, Not that day, but not that. I know the guy. We're like friends, I guess you could
Oh,
say.
see, so you were wrong.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
I guess, yeah,
It's
you
one of
don't know
those
yet,
things where it's
right?
like maybe acquaintances is a better word.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
can talk to everybody. So it's yeah. You literally like make acquaintances like every day. Like you just start having a conversation with people. That's something that I really like about you. You just know how to talk to people, and you can easily approach anybody, I feel, and just make them feel comfortable.
Hey, thank God, man. Thank God. Except for my crush. If I'm crushing
Uh,
on someone, I just cannot. Doesn't
and
work.
that's where the anxiety comes in. That's only gonna mess you up. But you go to somebody that you don't have a crush on, you don't think like that, right? But you have this crush on this girl, and you're like, oh, what do I say? What do I do? What I like what's the right thing to say so that you can get them to like me or like get a date or whatever. Yeah,
You
so
feel
it's
the pressure on you. You literally, yeah, I guess that's the way to put it.
you
You
would
feel
treat it
it.
as anybody else as a friend, and it's easier said than done. Trust me, I know. If you just start seeing them like, oh, like I'm just gonna befriend them, just say like, hey, how you doing? Whatever. I think that'd be a lot easier.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Whenever you go into like, I think any conversation with a person, I think that's a very easy way to go about it. You just want to befriend them and not
Yeah,
force it, just befriend them.
yeah. See what
Yeah.
happens. You at least are having a
Or
conversation with them.
you at least having a conversation with them. Yeah. Or another way with people I've noticed in general, like when I'd work in sales, would be I have no stakes in this at all. You came here, you want the car, okay, you'll buy the car if you want the car. But I'm just
Yeah,
going to talk to you regularly.
yeah.
And that is also like a great foundation to just
It
build a
is.
connection.
Yeah, my dad actually told me that when I was younger. Like, if you ever want to date somebody, just be their friend. And that's the best way to have a relationship is to be friends first, because you get to see a lot of each other that you won't really see in the beginning of a relationship that didn't go that way. They just started dating, they started, being really flirtatious and everything or whatever, went straight to the romance side of it. And then later on the line, you start seeing like who they are as the other side of themselves or the more real side of themselves. And it's a lot harder for you to adapt. And that's why a lot of relationships I'm sure fail. And they also don't take a time to fix things. And we live in a day and age where it's just easier to go look for another partner or another something than to fix what you have. Um, but yeah, I think I don't even know. I lost my train of thought there, but uh-huh.
It's reminding me of that song in Chicken Little. If you want to be my lover, first you got to be my friend.
Yeah, you gotta be
It's
in love. Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. Gotta get
yeah.
that friend. Well, actually, I don't know how that goes. I think it actually says you gotta get with my friends. So I don't know what that means.
Okay. I don't know
But I
either.
also I also thought the same thing when I heard that song. Like that's a good message, if you want to be my lover, be my friend first. But then
Yeah.
I saw the lyrics and I was like, I don't know if it still means the same thing. Like be with friends with my friends and we be friends first, Or is it saying you got to get with my friends? Like you got to date my friends first, which would be so much more nastier. So probably not that.
Yeah. Or maybe it means like vibing with my friends. Oh,
Vibe, yeah, it's a vibe.
I don't know about that either though, because I don't feel like that's like the best prerequisite, you know?
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, but it is a good rule of thumb though for people who want to date. Be their friend first.
Yeah. That whole phenomenon, like if I'm crushing on a girl, it's so funny and beautiful to me because it's like
So
it's little things like that that just show like, oh, you're still human, you know?
yeah,
Like, oh, you're not as fearless as you think you are, type of a thing.
yeah. Don't put women on a pedestal either. Yeah, don't hold them up to be like this whole
I
like.
learned that from Napoleon. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Napoleon Dynamite or which one?
No, the emperor.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what he says. You gotta
Yeah.
teach
No, just his life, just his life.
me.
But dude, Chuy, we're coming to like the last 6 minutes of this. I
Sad, bro.
always love talking to you, man. I always love talking to you. What
Yeah.
you got left for these last few minutes, man?
Um, we need to get together, man. We need to go grab some food or something. We need to go hang out.
Dude, join me this Wednesday, this
We
evening. I'm going to Chinatown with some friends.
hell yeah, let's do it. Let me
Let's
check my
do it.
calendar. Hold on. I don't want to say yes and then I'm like, dang man, I gotta whatever.
I loved it when you said to me that, hey, I got to check my calendar because that's been me these days too, bro. Like, I got my calendar, I got to check it, you know?
You got to, man. You got like life.
You got life. You're right.
I do have an appointment at 4 to 4:45. So
It's in the evening.
in the
Maybe
evening,
like
cool.
6, 7. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Sounds good, man. So yeah, we can definitely do it. Chinatown,
Yeah.
actually in there, so that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Dude, last time we met, it was you, me, Gus, and Renee, and my,
Yeah,
my cousin, Ollie. Oh my God. That
Yeah.
was December, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I think it was,
Oh
yeah.
my God. Yeah.
What who's all coming?
My friend, my friends Dan, Nicole, Dawood, and then maybe another friend, Ash.
Cool. We should see if what's his name, Renee could come.
Oh yeah, we should ask him too. He was
And
actually calling me throughout this podcast, bro. Literally, I had my
yeah.
phone ready.
And you should answer and be like, hey, I'm actually on a podcast real quick
You
with
know, I should have done that. You're right.
they're gonna be like,
I'm with
hey,
Chuy.
wait. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my
bro.
God.
Let him know. I'll let Renee know, but I don't have Gus's info. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, let him know too. See if we can, hang out, get some food or something. You said it was you, your dad, and what?
No, no, no. Me, my friend Dan, Nicole, and a few others.
Oh, I'm tripped. I think you the
This
code.
morning you texted me. You're like, "Yo, bro, what's your address?"
Yeah, I really thought we were gonna do this one in person,
Dude,
but
one day,
one day,
inshallah, one day.
yeah, have some snacks, maybe a drink or something. I don't know.
Oh, dude, Terrence Howard. What was
Oh
like the best thing you got from that podcast?
man, the best thing for that, Terrence Howard, I would recommend everybody to go watch that. Um, it is an interesting take on what we know in science. What is gravity and all math also, like what we know as math today. And so he really challenges all that and has like a different system of thinking things. There is a lot of unanswered questions because he did get asked like direct questions like, well, what methods do you have instead? Or to explain why one plus one or one times one equals two. And he has a methodology, it's all theoretical when it comes to like, well, you have one times one, but how does it equal one? If you have something and another thing and you're multiplying, then shouldn't it equal double that or shouldn't it equal more? Like the substance doesn't just go away, right? So there's a lack of accountability there on like the substance part of it of nature. But he doesn't have an actual way to explain it yet mathematically. I still think it's still worth taking a look at. It's interesting. He talks about supersymmetry. So sorry, that's my dog back there. But yeah, I think everybody should just take a look at it. And honestly, man, I really want like the people who have the necessary qualifications to in this field of science and physics to challenge him, to tell him why he's wrong or why he could be right. Or I'm so curious to know this. It's not like not worth taking a look at. It's not worth taking a look at for these people, like I don't know. I still feel like he should be heard out at least and then talk about it.
He was such a great war machine. I cannot believe they replaced him.
What do you
And
mean?
oh, like an Iron Man, he was a
Oh yeah,
sidekick.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. They
He
decided to.
was he was amazing in that actually. But I read one of the comments on the Joe Rogan podcast. It was like Terrence Howard is Cat Williams' final form.
That- that's a good.
Yeah, that was a good one. And dude, his stuff in the beginning about like I remember who I was in the womb or whatever. I was like, wow, there's
Yeah,
a
that's
lot
pretty
going on here.
interesting. Yeah, I know people have had those experiences from like taking psychedelics. They have like a rebirth kind of experience like that.
Mm.
He says he kind of felt that like since the beginning. So it's interesting, and I don't know. I think he should just be heard out and at least have a debate. You know?
Mm. Yeah, yeah. It's been cool that you were into that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm also pretty easily susceptible. Now let me not say that because that's not true, actually. But I am willing. I'm more than willing to hear someone out. At least, like that's the mutual respect that I will hold.
I like that, Chuy. I like that. Well, man, this was a fun conversation. Thank you again for being here, and I hope to have you back on soon.
Heck yeah, and then I'll see you Wednesday.
I will see you Wednesday. You take
All
care, eh?
right, later, man. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.